Hello and welcome students to MechPro classes, my official YouTube channel. Myself Piraj Majumdar, Assistant Professor of Mechanical Engineering Department, GKCM, that is Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management under JIS Group. Welcome you to our new session of Advanced Welding Technology, where we will be uploading all the lecture series according to MacOut syllabus day by day. So keep in touch with us for getting daily updates. You can also contact me through 9433465217, that is my personal phone number, or even you can email me at pirasar@gmail.com. You can also connect me through social networking, that is Facebook page, which is known as MechPro classes. So let us start today's online session.
We have completed the stud arc welding process. Mainly the arc welding process we have completed, that is a SMAW, stud arc welding, MIG, TIG and flux core arc welding process. From now we will be have some classes on solid state welding process. Okay, so here we have the pressure welding, friction welding, diffusion welding and resistance welding process as well. Okay, so let us begin our today's online class on solid state welding process. So first we will be studying the pressure welding process. So solid state welding, as you know, we have got some classification of welding. So in the classification of welding we have got this fusion state welding, that is a liquid state fusion welding, and also we have got this solid state welding also. In the solid state welding process, generally we are having this non-fusion type of welding, or you can say the metal is not melted to that extent, or we are having this solid state of the metal, and we are performing the joining process in the solid state of the metal only. Okay, so by the application of pressure maybe, or you can say by the application of friction as well, but we are not interested in melting the parent metal and making a molten pool of metal out of it. Okay, so that is the thing, that is the difference I must tell you before going to this direct discussion, that this is a solid state welding process. Previously in the arc welding process we have gone through the this melting of this metal actually. So melting of metal means this we are having the liquid state actually. Okay, so now on we will be having some discussions on this solid state welding process. Okay, so let us start today's session on pressure welding first. So pressure welding, from the name itself, it suggests that with the application of pressure we can join two metals. Okay, so that is the process known as the pressure welding process. Okay, so as you can see over here, it is generally it generally takes place at elevated temperature. So what is the purpose of having some elevated temperature? Because it will help to this parent materials to soften. Okay, by applying temperature you can easily soften the parent materials or materials to be joined. Okay, so that is the thing you have to perform while performing the pressure welding process. Okay, so now material is compressed to form bonds. Okay, so first you will be having some temperature, high temperature, you will be needing some high temperatures, then you will be having some this compression is applied, so that you will be having some bonding between the materials as well. Okay, so that is the thing. Now some recrystallization is there also. May there be not of such has area has, has is much more predominant in this arc welding process actually. So when you are performing this arc welding process, so in these portions you are having the has this is the heat affected zone in these portions. Okay, but when you are performing this type of welding process where you are not melting the parent metal, or you are not generating that much amount of heat, so the has area is much more reduced actually. Okay, so there will be a little bit of heat generated that will not be enough to reach the melting of the metal. Okay, so there will be a reduction in the has area actually. Okay, but sometimes some recrystallization may take place across the bonding line. Okay, so it may happen sometimes. Now typical process of this pressure welding is forge welding and hammer welding. Look, forge welding, I must tell you, it is forge welding is the oldest of the metal joining processes that is known to human kind. Okay, so forge welding is one of the most oldest process of metal joining. Okay, and what happens in this process, the ends of the parts to be joined are heated to a temperature slightly below the solidus temperature, and a pressure is applied so that a fusion joint is obtained. Okay, and this is familiar method used by village blacksmiths actually. And blacksmiths, you might have heard the name of the blacksmiths, kamashala we used to say in Bengali. So this was somewhat very well known process to us, as because it might be well known to you also, as because most of the neighborhoods vicinity there might be a shop around the market in your locality where you can find these blacksmiths, where they are heating the rods, hammering it, and performing the blacksmithy. So at that particular place, if you visit, you will find that they are joining two metals by applying the mechanical force, by blowing manually or by a machine, or continuously by a rotating rolls. And before that, they get softened the metals by applying the heat. So that is the, this is the forge welding process, this one. Okay, and similarly hammer welding is also somewhat similar to this forge welding process type. Now in forge welding, of ferrous alloys, thin coating of iron oxide is readily formed when the heated metal is exposed to the atmospheric oxygen. Now unless this oxide is removed from the weld zone, it would interfere with the fusion of the joint as well. Hence it is this oxide is removed from the weld zone, it would interfere with the fusion of the joint. So it is necessary to apply fluxes so that the iron oxide would become more fluid and under the pressure blows out of the joint, thus aiding a proper weld. So the flux is very important, you must keep in mind. Two things are very important, one is flux and another is shielding gases. So you have to remember the name of the fluxes generally employed in this forge welding process. So you might have heard this name of this borax in your chemistry class. So this will be your flux, Na2B4O7.10H2O. So 10 crystals of H2 will be there with this compound, that is the borax. Another one you can also use, that is the silica sand also. So these two fluxes are widely used while forge welding process, during the forge welding process as well. Okay. Now, fine silicon sand is generally cheaper than borax. This one is cheaper than this one, borax, and may be used for sprinkling on low carbon steels actually. And wrought iron and low carbon steels are easily forge welded actually. The use of fluxes for these materials can be avoided because their oxides would melt at much this lower temperatures than the forge welded temperatures as well. The grain size, actually the grain size in the joint is likely to increase in size actually, because of the heating of the preheating, you can also say, before the hammering. Okay, so preheating sometimes uh, helps in the increase of grain size, okay, around the joint. But the subsequent metal working done on the joint properly, if you properly perform the working, that is the hammering, like that. Okay, so subsequent metal working done on the joint properly controls the grain size and also gives rise to the good mechanical properties as well. Okay, so that is the thing. And one more thing also is there, this forge welding operation is a very slow and labor intensive process also. So that is the limitation of this particular forge welding process. Okay, so the weld quality also depends to a great extent on the skill of the welder as well. So you have to think of the good skill of the welder. You have to recruit such good skilled, highly skilled welder actually. So you have to pay for that purpose. Okay, now as a result it is more expensive and therefore it is hardly used in industrial practice also. So it is mainly limited to the blacksmiths actually, but it is one of the oldest joining process, I must tell you, this forge welding process with the application of pressure. So it is one of the pressure welding process, you can say. Okay, so here is the steps are written over here. First, both the work plates are heated together. The heating temperature is about 50 to 90 degree, 90% actually of its solidus, actually its melting temperature actually. Now both the plates are coated with flux, so flux will be helping to get out the impurities as well. Now manual hammering is done by a blacksmith hammer actually, okay, for making a joint, and this process is repeated until a proper joint is created. So as I told you earlier that this is the process mainly limited to the blacksmiths nowadays, as because it is very expensive process, as well as skillful labor is also actually skillful welder is also needed. That's why it is not being famous or being used in industrial purposes where automation has taken their places. Okay, now for welding large workpieces, mechanical hammering is used, which is either driven by electric motor or by using a hydraulic mean. Okay, sometimes dies are used, which provides a very good surface finish as well. Now coming to the advantages of this particular solid state welding, actually it is for all the solid state welding process. So it eliminates liquid phases actually, makes the joining of many dissimilar metal combinations possible. It can also be performed with little or no deformation in some cases as well. So you can think this is a very it may be a slow process, but the mechanical properties are remaining intact as far as this solid state welding is concerned, rather than this fusion welding like we have read in MIG welding or TIG welding. But there are always some advantages as well as disadvantages related with this arc welding process as well as this solid state welding processes also. So it can be performed at very low temperatures. That is a very important thing, a very advantageous one. And some solid state processes can weld large areas in a single welding operation. So that is also a very high advantage, it can weld large areas in single welding operation. Now some processes are also relatively very rapid also. Now let us discuss about some hot pressure welding process. In hot pressure welding, it is a solid state welding process which produces coalescence of materials with heat and the application of pressure sufficient to produce macro deformation of the base metal as well. In this process, coalescence occurs at the interface between the parts because of pressure and heat, which is accompanied by noticeable deformation as well. Now, the deformation of the surface cracks the surface oxide film and increases the areas of clean metal as well. Welding this type of metal to the clean metal of the abutting part is accomplished by diffusion across the interface so that the coalescence of the fraying surface occurs actually. Now, type of welding processes, as I earlier told you that there are two different types. And now, first of all, welding is a material joining process for a permanent combining of two or more parts that involves melting and subsequent solidification of the material from the two parts, thus forming a strong joint between them. The assemblage of parts is called a weldment. So, earlier before the class I told you that it is of liquid state welding. It is a fusion welding we already have learned in the arc welding process concerning the MIG welding, TIG welding, SMAW manual metal arc welding, and FCAW, that is a flux core arc welding as well. So in liquid state welding, fusion welding, in which coalescence is accomplished by melting, that is the main thing, melting, that's why it is known as fusion welding, and in some cases adding filler metal to the joint as well. But in solid state, in which heat or pressure are used to achieve coalescence but no melting. Actually, that is the main difference. There is melting occurs in liquid state, but there is no melting of base metal, and no filler metal is also used. That is also another important point you have to remember. Okay. So here is the thing you can see over here. There is a before joining it, the metals are being heated, then it is being pressed on a roller or keep pressing by a hammers manually. So that is the typical diagram for this pressure welding process. Okay. Now here is another process. This friction stir welding process. Okay. So friction stir welding process actually is one of the most versatile one in the this this solid state welding process actually. It is a new process, new novel solid state joining process. A specifically designed tool rotates and transverse along the joint line, creating frictional heating that softens a column of material underneath the tool. The softened materials flows around the tool through extensive plastic deformation and is consolidated behind the tool to form a solid state continuous path. So it is one of the most versatile and new and novel solid state joining process. So coming to the friction welding, as you can see right hand side, there is the steps how a friction welding occurs between two joining surfaces, as you can see from first to last. So friction welding is a solid state joining process that produces coalescence. Coalescence means that it is a joining by the heat developed between two surfaces by mechanically induced surface motion. Now friction stir welding, it is a solid state joining process as well, where the metal is not melted, and that uses a third body tool to join two facing surfaces as well. Heat is generated between the tool and the material. So here you will find the steps. So this is a clamping force, as you can see over here. So from there, this is a step 2. This is a rotating. Where it comes to the step 3, and in step 4 we have the joining of the materials. Okay. Now here you will find the more detailed diagram of the friction stir welding. Sufficient downward force to maintain registered contact. This one registered contact. Okay. Advancing side of the weld. This this is a joint and leading edge of the rotating tool. This is a rotating tool which is producing the friction, and this friction melts the, actually not melts the metal, actually it softens the metal, and it helps in joining the two metals. Okay, so P robe is there, rotating side of the weld as well, trailing edge of the rotating tool, as you can see. So this is the thing, this is a T section, two component top butt. As you can see, butt weld is going over here. You can also perform corner welds with this friction stir welding. Actually it is rotating and producing the friction, and that is a heat to join two surfaces as well. Okay, now here you can find the butt welds and overlap welds actually. So you have to first you have to make sure that the parts are to be joined or clamped firmly, and a rotating hardened steel tool is driven into the joint and traversed along the joint line between the parts. The rotating tool produces the friction with the parts, generating enough heat and deformation to weld the parts together as well. Okay, so this is the main thing concerning with the friction welding. Actually this friction welding has been widely accepted in the aerospace industry as well as the automobile industry for welding of very critical parts actually. Now the main advantage of the friction welding is the ease with which the joining can take place. Edge cleaning is not a problem since the oxides and containments present would easily be removed during the initial rubbing process, and since the joining takes place by diffusion rather than by actual melting, even dissimilar metals can also be joined. Also, the heat generated being small, well below the melting temperature, there will be no distortion and warping, that is the bending types of things. So the only distortion apparent at the joint is the upper this upset portion of the metal, which can be removed by machining later. The quality of the weld achieved is very high and it is economical in operation as well, and any unskilled operator can work on a friction welding machine since it is completely automatic in operation, so there is no need to worry. And one more thing I would like to add, that one of the parts to be joined is rotated at a high speed, very high speed, around 3000 revolutions per minute, and the other part is axially aligned with the second one and pressed tightly against it. The friction between the two parts raises the temperature of both the ends. Then the rotation of the part is stopped abruptly and the pressure on the fixed part is increased so that the joining takes place. So this is the friction welding process. Now the machine for rotating welding is similar to central lathe. Though a central lathe could be used for smaller jobs, the bigger one requires a special welding machine. So this is necessary because in a lathe the power available would not be sufficient. The power requirements, this is a very important thing, you must take a note. Speed of, I already told you that 3000 revolution speed, I already mentioned 3000 revolutions per minute, means RPM you can write. And one more thing you have to note, that the power requirement of friction welding may be 25 kVA, so it is a huge kilovolt ampere to 175 kVA, okay, which is far beyond that of any general purpose lathes. Okay, so it is a very high power requirement is there, so you have to keep in mind. Further, the quick disengagement and the instantaneous breaking of the rotating part would not be possible in a lathe. That's why a different setup is required for this friction welding process. Okay, now the major parameters in friction welding are the rotational speed and the axial pressure applied. The axial pressure applied depends on the strength and hardness of the metals being joined. Pressure may be for 40 MPa, you can use 40 MPa actually. For low carbon steel to as high as 450, also 450 MPa you can also use for alloy steels. The rotating speed may also change under the requirement of pressure as well. High speeds reduce the pressure required for joining, and the rotational speeds may vary from, as I earlier told you, 3000, so it may vary from 1500 to 3000 RPM, that is the revolution per minute. The other variable that needs to be closely controlled is the time of contact between the two parts, and the total welding time that is taken in friction welding is between 2 to 30 seconds, so very less time. That's why it is very much versatile process, this friction. So that's all about you need to know about the friction stir welding. And previously we have learned the forge welding, which is nowadays obsolete in industrial purposes, but it is one of the most oldest method, and yet it's still now in use in blacksmiths as well. But this friction stir welding is the most versatile process, as it can weld in a very small time without the application of heat, and very much versatile process. So today we have learned these two solid state welding process, where there is no melting of metal takes place. In the next class we'll be having some more discussion on different types of solid state welding, such as this diffusion type of weldings. So for now, thank you for watching.